Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to the Spiritual Roundtable, and I'm your host for this Spiritual Roundtable live stream right here on our main fan page for Star Nations on Facebook. Yeah, so welcome to a really beautiful day here in Toma, Wisconsin, where I live. I know I haven't talked about the weather in a while, but it's gorgeous out there. It's about 75 degrees. It's been raining on and off, and with the sun coming out, but it's really nice. It's really nice. It's one of those days that I wish I could do my show with you outside so that we could experience it together, right? Yeah. So, this show is all about a spiritual conversation. So if you enjoy those and you enjoy spiritual insight, right? This might just be for you. This might just be for you. The card draw that I do in the mornings is all about the energy for the day, right? And so I ask my spiritual team to join me and ask them to show me what's the most important energy that's flowing today that's important for us to know about for our highest good, for the highest good of all, and also that it will help us along with our spiritual growth, our soul contract, and get those insights, right? Yeah. So that's the intention for the live stream. And the live stream that I do this Sunday through Thursday. And I clicked something. I hope I didn't say do it now. We get those prompts, about updating, and it's like, I thought I clicked it, try me tomorrow, but nothing's happening. So cross your fingers. My laptop isn't going to start updating. So anyway, that's the intention for the show and for our conversation. The cards actually spark a conversation between me and those that are in the live chat. Now, if you're watching by the recorded show, right, the recorded show, that's good too, though. Thank you so much for making time in your day to join us. And if you have something that you'd like to share, just put it in the comments. And it'd be helpful if you tagged me so that I know that it's there and I can come and take a look at it, right? Yeah. So I've got my phone and I'm going to get our live stream up here. And I'm going to like it and share it. There we go. You know what? I'm going to send it over to my news feed so that I can remind my friends that I'm live streaming. And I would invite you to do the same thing. You can send it over to your news feed if you'd like, or maybe you have a friend that you'd like to invite, and you can send it through Messenger, right? I always say that it's kind of like a light worker or energy worker's kind of civic duty. Whenever we find something that's helpful with our soul growth, and it's information that we've been searching for, and there it is, you can almost make a really good bet that there's somebody else out there looking for the same information. And if you can, share it, chances are that they'll find it a little bit easier. So that would really be helpful. And I am sending it over to, gotta spell correctly, to my news feed. The live chat. There we go. Post that. And I don't know. Stephanie might be in the house. I noticed that she was in probably Joe's. I'm going to send it over just to one of our closed groups, and so that we don't kind of overlap, So just to remind the peeps that I'm live streaming. And please join. There we go. There. You know what? It's been a really busy day. It's been very, very busy. Tuesdays are always busy. Tuesdays are one of the busiest days here that we have at Star Nations. And today is no different. It started out at 6:10 this morning. My mom wasn't up yet, which is kind of, that's kind of out of the norm. She's usually up around 5:30 or 6. But Mervyn had to contact me, Mervyn Kelly, about his show From Star to Stone. His mom's doctor's appointment that was for later in the day got moved later in the day got moved to right when Mervyn was supposed to start his show. And so I was helping to try to reschedule it, right? And in the new studio. And so that took us a little bit. But so Mervyn, if you can join him next week, Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern time, I tell you what, I cannot wait for that show because it's all about stones and crystals and how they can help us to access our ancestors. The wisdom coming from our ancestors. That's what I was looking for. So if you can do that. And so, I totally understand those medical appointments, and especially for elders or for children, it's like, it's so hard sometimes to get into certain doctors or certain specialists that if they decide that, hey, we have an opening, your name came up on the list, can you come? It's like, yeah, you're going to drop whatever you're doing and get there. Right? So anyway, we kind of missed him this morning, but I totally understand we can catch his show next week. And how many people watched Polly Joe's show? Holy smokes. That show it was overflowing with information and an insight into a tool that we all have access to. That will help us to remember how to connect with our inner wisdom. And it was really good. I enjoyed it. And I have to tell you, those triple numbers, right? Triple numbers. When I brought Polly Joe's show up on my laptop, I saw that I think it was her people liking her or following her show was at 555. And look at the topic that she was talking about, 555. And then when I was starting this show, and I was looking at the main fan page for Star Nations, the comments that are coming in for that page and all the videos that we do and all the posts that we do is 2,999 for this week. 2,999. So we had triple nines there. Completion. Gotta love it, right? Gotta love it. So let's take a look at who's in the chat. What? No sound? Really? Oh my gosh. Hang on. All right. Hopefully I have sound. Tell me I have sound. I'll check my phone. Oh my gosh, you guys missed a whole lot of good stuff. I think I have sound. I was just... All right. Oh, good. I have sound. Yay. Thanks for letting me know, guys. Oh my gosh. How much did I just say? And you guys didn't even hear any of it. Rats. Doesn't fit in here. Okay. Thank you, Marie, for sprinkling. And hello to you, lady. And Rob is saying, restart the app and the video. Just did it. I wasn't looking at the comments, Rob. I was into triple numbers, and I'll share again what I said, and then you'll know why I wasn't looking at the chat. Okay. Okay, Jen's here. Good morning, Jen. Good morning to have you here. Christina's here too. Hello, Christina. Thank you for joining us. Yep, that was mine. That's when I finally took a look in the chat and said, oh my God, we have no sound. And Jen said, hey, Rob, I have sound. Now, Jen, you have to let me know. Do you still have sound? Oh, good. Thank you, Jen. Marie's saying, you're fine. Tabitha, you're fine. Marie's saying, we heard it all. Yay. Yay. Okay. So then, Rob, I guess you have to refresh your screen. I know, but thank you so much. I do. Because, we get going in the studio and it's not like if we don't have sound and somebody doesn't tell us, we don't know. So thank you, everybody, for giving us a hand. So, okay, those triple numbers, right? And you know what I love about it is that, you're not searching for them. You're not looking over there and looking over here and saying, geez, where's the next triple number, right? They just appear. And so the triple fives in the numerology that I follow is all about transformation and ascension, right? Transformation and ascension. Let's see if I can get those up on my notes, just so I know that I'm not forgetting anything. Hang on. There we go. Wouldn't scroll. Triple numbers, where are you? I might have to search for it. I didn't realize I had so much in my notes. I'm going to have to search for it. Oh, here we go. All right, so the triple number 5 is unity consciousness. This is the number when someone has attained unity consciousness. They have mastered all levels of the mystery school. It's the highest number, and it's the number of Christ. All right, so, and I also know that we're in a different energy field than when these were put together. And so we also have to look at the more expanded version of that. And so with the ascension, unity consciousness, right? Unity consciousness. I honestly, the feeling I have is that what we used to talk about ascension all the time, right? All the time. And really, for me these days, ascension isn't some place that we're striving for and reaching for. It's right here, right now. It's everything that we do, everything that we're thinking, and how it affects everyone else around us, right? Yeah, to me, that's ascension. Okay, and the triple nines is about completion of a particular cycle of events. Well, that's good to know, especially with everything that's going on with Star Nations these days and some of the changes that is going to be coming up for you guys to experience. And yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Yay, Christina's saying, I heard it. Yay. Oh no, Rob still can't hear. Okay. When that happens, for me, what I do is depending on what I'm using, whether I'm turning off my phone or turning off my iPad or completely rebooting my laptop, that's what I have to do. And I don't know if that's going to work for Rob or not, but might we put a note in there? Rob, try turning off your phone or a complete reboot. Now he's going to laugh because, this is all his language. He's an IT guy, and here I am telling him what to do. Making that strong suggestion, right? All right. So today's cards, they're so interesting. And wait till you see them. Yeah, I'm going to get started because I can't wait for you guys to see this first card. All right. Just want to make sure I get the right page here. All right. So this was the first card. Porcupine. porcupine. Now, hang on. All right, here we go. Now, I'm going to show you the one that's done in beadwork first, okay? This is a medallion, and the likeness of a porcupine with its quills out, done in beadwork. You know, my mom taught me how to do beadwork. If I had to, I could make this medallion. I have the beads actually too, and the string. It's not one of my gifts, one of my allies. I don't find it relaxing or enjoyable, beadwork. It's very, very tiny beads and for me, it's very tedious. But I tell you what, there's some really good people. There's people out there that can really do artwork with beads. And this happens to be one of them. The porcupine has his quills out, right? And then there's their quills. Now I've made earrings similar to this. I've used porcupine quills to make earrings back in the day. And I tell you what, I'd rather wear a pair of porcupine quill earrings than beaded earrings. Why? Because they're so light and they don't hurt after a few hours. And so the earring has the quills that are dyed red, right? And then they have what's probably, a commercial feather that was purchased and cut down and kind of shaped into a smaller type feather with sterling silver beads maybe at the end there. But those are porcupine quills. I should have worn a pair today. I really didn't. I was moving so fast, trying to get things done today before the show. I didn't have time. I might have some in my bag. I might. And so porcupine. And what do we know about porcupine in general without looking at the, I love it. I love it. The scroll for the chat in the studio is now working. I've been doing at least 2 weeks of shows without the scroll working and having to rely on my phone for the rest of it. So it's nice. It's nice to have it working again. All right. So porcupine. I got to ask this. How many people in the chat have ever seen a porcupine? Whether it's in the zoo or whether it's out in the woods. You know that they move very, very slowly. Slowly they move. In the springtime around here, many times you'll see them crawling up a poplar tree, right? Because they like the new fresh leaves that are coming out. And they're easy to spot because they're brown and white, and there's this big thing in the tree that's slowly crawling up the tree to get to the branches, right? I bet you didn't know that they crawled up trees. Yeah, they do. And they do make a noise. It's kind of like a chattering sound. And Paul and I have this joke about how fast, does a porcupine run, is that they're probably thinking they're running really, really fast, breakneck kind of speed. And they're moving very, very slowly. In fact, when they're trying to cross a road, literally traffic should stop because they're moving as fast as they can. But in order for them to make it across the road, the highway. And their quills are all about protection. It's all about protection. Because they move so slow, they would be a really popular prey animal. right? Because they move so slowly. And so, and a lot of times, what we'll see is dogs that have the porcupine quills, in their snouts and stuff like that, because they were chasing, the porcupine trying to protect themselves. The quills themselves are hollow, very pointy, very hard, especially the tip. And so they're kind of needle-like, okay? Except that when you're working with them for making certain artwork, you can actually flatten them out and use them much like you would something similar to maybe embroidery. You can actually make designs with quills that are flattened. You can dye them. They take dye really, really well. Yeah. So let's see. Get caught up. Christina is saying, been waiting on changes. Oh, okay. All right. Well, you might hear something today that will help you. All right. So Annie's saying, hey, Annie, good to have you here. Finally can tune into your show. Missed you. I know. I missed you too. It's good to see you in the chat. All is well by you. She's a very busy woman in the summertime. She owns a campground here in Wisconsin. One Paul and I are hoping to get to. I don't know if it'll be this year anymore, but definitely next spring. Rob is saying, restarted the app again. Sound no? Yay! Good one, Rob. Rob says they are difficult to kill. I've seen one take a point blank shotgun blast and not flinch. Oh, okay. Well, I've never seen that done, so I don't know about that firsthand. Yeah, in my family, in the early days, I don't know what my brothers do now, but we were taught that you don't kill anything that you're not going to eat, right? So I don't know if I'd eat a porcupine. I don't. Rob says, obviously it was in the wild. Yeah, you wouldn't be doing that in the zoo, right? Jen says, we call them Ichindan? No, Ichidana. I hope I pronounced that right. I see them often on my property. How big are they down in Australia? Ours, I don't know. I would say if you could, it'd be like maybe the size of a puppy that's maybe 2 months old or so. 3 months old, something like that. Depending on the size of the breed, of course. But Rob says, I wasn't the one who pulled the trigger, and I haven't been hunting since. I see them often on my property. Oh, that's Jen's. I'm sorry. And I haven't been hunting since I was 14. Yeah. Well, let's see. How old was I? No, the last time I went hunting, I was 18, I think. 18. I didn't shoot anything that year. I don't remember. I don't think I did. Oh, wait. No, I did. But that was the last time I went hunting. Where I carried a gun. I went hunting after that because my dad wouldn't stop hunting, and he was recovering from cancer surgery, and he said he's going out there, and that was the only reason why I went, is to keep track of him. The things you do as a daughter. Rob says, I'm sorry, I read that down. Oh, thank you, Jen. Echidna. I like that, echidna. Okay, so we do know that the quills are used for protection, right? And the words associated with porcupine is gentleness, trust, and innocence. It symbolizes protection, and the porcupine is seen with its quills raised to warn off intruders. Porcupine advises you to return to a simpler outlook on life. Don't let yourself become cynical or sophisticated. Porcupine medicine brings the ability to release the inner child into playfulness and laughter, or to come out of the shadows. Follow your intuition, let go of suspicion. Porcupine tells you that it's safe to trust. You don't need to overprotect your ego. Okay, so that one caught my attention. You don't need to overprotect your ego. So, as an adult, right, and especially when you're an awake adult to your spiritual life, right, I think we really are consciously aware about our balance, right? We know when our ego is out of balance. We know when our emotions are out of balance. We know when our mental aspects are out of balance. We know when we're out of balance. Sometimes, we don't recognize it right away, and then the light goes on. It's like, oh yeah, okay. It'll help if I do my grounding. Which, by the way, if you didn't do your grounding yet today, my suggestion is to pause for a moment and do your grounding, okay? It'll help bring in the information coming through these cards. This particular deck is really has the foundation built into it energetically to help us to heal those aspects and or at least to understand them, so we can begin the healing process around our emotions. Okay, so it's going to be very helpful if you're grounded and centered. So if you haven't done it yet today, just pause for and do your grounding. Okay. The author goes on to say is that let Porcupine teach you the joy of childlike open-hearted. In the same way as a child returns to mother and father, return to Mother Earth in Great Spirit for the comfort and reassurance that you are seeking. All right. So they're talking a lot about trust here, right? And our innocence that we never lose. We may have life things happen to us, where we've been hurt, where we've been abused, where we've been, we feel like our innocence has been shattered, right? And the thing is that we always retain our innocence, our inner child, always. It never goes away. We may put up barriers and protective shields around our inner child and our heart, but they're always there. Right? And so this particular card is really talking about how we can drop the shields, that there's an aspect here that maybe we haven't really taken in and sense it from this perspective. Because we do talk a lot about healing here, don't we? About healing those emotional and mental traumas, right? And along with that, we're all doing healing around our inner child. Every single one of us, right? And sometimes our relationships with our two-legged parents, right, may not be the healthiest, the best for us. Maybe we don't trust them because they've hurt us. Maybe we tried and it didn't work. And so now, we put even more shields up between us. And so when we say that, go to your parents for love and protection, there's some people who really do and can do that. And there's others who cannot. And once we recognize that, we can start healing around it, but that doesn't mean that we end up with a white picket fence kind of relationship with our parents, right? Sometimes we can get to the point of the healing process and the forgiving and the releasing and the letting go that we can have a conversation with them, but it's not like you're going to invite them into your inner world, right? Or that they're going to be one of those people that you're going to be able to pick up the phone any time of day or night and say, I need help, right? You may have other people in your life that you can do that with, but it's possible that your birth parents or your two-legged parents aren't going to be that. And so here is what jumped out at me in this when I read the information this morning is we do have parents. We have grandparents. Grandmother Earth, grandfather Sky, right? I teach that with unity breath meditation. There's a certain vibration, a certain frequency when we send them love and their love returns to us, right? They love us unconditionally. So we have that in spirit. It might not be in the physical sense, but we do have it. And that we can turn to them in those times, right? And we have. Just by asking you to ground and to get centered, that is connecting to Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky, right? Just want to make sure I get the words right here. In the same way a child returns to mother and father, return to Mother Earth and Great Spirit for the comfort and reassurance that you are seeking. So maybe, is to do some inner research and ask your higher self, ask yourself, what is it that I'm searching for? And try to get down to the root of it, to go deep into the earth, right? So what is it that you're searching for? That will help. Porcupine can help us do that through the gentleness, and they're talking about innocence. We have a way of returning to our innocence and yet be protected and loved. Yeah. Childlike innocence. We do have that. Yeah. It's Lisa saying, she says, I smudged and buried a red-tailed hawk killed on the road. My heart was full. May he soar to the heavens. I felt it was my duty. Oh my goodness, Lisa. Thank you for doing that. Really, thank you for doing that. We think about them as all our relation, right? All our relation is every living being here on Grandmother Earth is our relation. And so for those who fly, right, the red-tailed hawk, thank you for doing that and sending him in a good way. Yeah. Yeah. And so just the fact that you did that, you will carry red-tailed hawk medicine with you for a very, very long time. And if hopefully if you know enough about red-tailed hawk, you can tap into that energy, right? And red-tailed hawk will be there to help you. Yeah. It's almost like a giveaway. And that's what they call it in Native America. It's a gift given to you. Because the person or the whatever car that hit them, right? The bird didn't stop. And maybe they didn't even know what they hit, right? Because that's happened before. But you came upon it and felt that it was, you felt a duty, a calling to do this for this bird. And so thank you so much. Because it's not easy to do that. Oh my God. Paul gets all kind of nervous when we do things like that, because, there's certain birds you're not supposed to touch. And that kind of thing, because the DNR, they're very protective over them. And, it's like, turn around. What are you going to do? I said, I'm going to at least make sure it's not on the road, because if another animal comes up and, because it's a cycle of life, somebody is going to eat it, right? I don't want that next animal to get hit by a car, right? And so, to have plastic bags or gloves or something in the car so that you can kind of move it off to the side. And if you can, to do what Lisa did was to bury it, right? For me, I'd put some tobacco in there for it too. So thank you so much, Jen, for sharing it and doing it. Jen says, when you spot them and they spot you, they start digging and burying themselves. Once they do, they're hard to pick up. Oh, okay. Well, is it limited to this planet? We have a couple of different streams of conversation. Rob, which one are you referring to? Yeah, and so blessed. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, let me know, Rob, limited to this planet. What did that relate to? Okay. All right. So, all right. So here's a part that also stood out to me. It says that perhaps the quills, right, represent unkind words or thoughtless actions penetrating your skin. We just got through Mercury retrograde, and we're heading out of the shadow of Mercury retrograde. I think that's this week. And so sometimes with that kind of communication wonkiness, some things can be said or misunderstood. And so it's a possibility that some of us have experienced that in this last retrograde. Because I'll tell you, there's a lot of misunderstandings going on, a lot of old wounds coming up between individuals, and yeah. So if that's the case, and Porcupine's coming to us to let us know that those wounds, that it may be necessary to face them with their faults, the person who did the wounding, in order to heal your wounds and to extract the quills. So in some regards, it's kind of like taking, it's more than cutting cords. All right, cutting cords is good, but sometimes it takes a little bit more than that. That you actually have to take the hook out. Okay, and that's what this reminds me of. Is that you might, I don't particularly think that we have to do a confrontation with them. If you can sit down and talk to somebody about it, that's a good thing. But if it's in a situation where you don't feel safe, that you can do it from a distance. You follow that energetic cord from who sent it, where is it stuck in you, and have your team come and help you to remove that emotional hook. Because if you don't remove the hook and you just cut the cord, cutting the cord isn't enough to remove that energy from you, right? So that's what this reminded me of, because porcupine quills, they're a little barbed at the end, so that when they're released and shot into something or someone, it's not just a needle going in, because a needle, you can take it out very easily. There's a little barb at the end of it that hooks into and into the flesh, right? That's why it's so hard on dogs when they have them in their face. Many times the vet has to actually go in and cut them out, right? And so you might want to take a look at that. Is that something that may be there for you, that porcupine is letting you know It could have been unkind words or thoughtless actions, right? And that you can take the quill out. You just have to have help from your team to do that. It says, remember that adversity can strengthen your spirit. Okay, because those unkind words and thoughtless actions, right, are all connected to a life lesson. A lot of times you go, oh, come on, not another one. But that's what this life is all about, is learning. We get through one, we have some integration time, and then we begin the next, right? It's not quite as linear as that, but it's pretty close. So porcupines, I think really we're talking about a certain amount of trust here. And we're trust of someone else and trusting ourselves. That you can have kindness and gentleness. And you don't necessarily have to be, I was going to say victimized for it. You don't have to be bullied about it. You don't have to be abused or misused because you're kind and gentle, right? Porcupine has a way of being kind, of being gentle, and yet protected, right? So we can do the same thing. We can be kind and we can be gentle and still be protected. We can recover, rediscover. Those would have been really good Mercury retrograde words. Rediscover and recover our innocence, right? Yeah. I like that piece about turning to Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky for the comfort and the reassurance that we're seeking. Right? Yeah. Porcupine. All right, second card. Keep track of the time here. I have to say that this is the very first time I've ever gotten this kind of card. All right. Oh, I gotta scroll down. Wait, I want to answer Rob's question. All our relations. That's a really good question, because Rob asked, is it limited to this planet? Right? My initial response to that, Rob, was no, it's not. Because on a soul level, we're interconnected with everything in the universe, both known and unknown, right? Because it goes all the way back to the prime creator, right? And I think that on Grandmother Earth, it's a microcosm of that. So it helps us to kind of focus in on our relationships here with all our relations within this planet, right? Because it's a microcosm of the much larger. And so we have the opportunity to be able to relate that to the larger world, or the larger experience, I should say. Does that make sense? Because that's what initially came to me. Well, Deborah's here too. Hello, Deborah. You're just joining in. Good to have you here. Jen says the echidna quills are so tough that when run over by a car, many quills penetrate the rubber tire at once and destroy the tire. They're the most gentle animal until they need to protect themselves. Exactly. Yeah. And as long as they're not feeling in danger, they don't raise their quills. It takes a lot of energy to do that. Oh, Anne Marie is giving me a wink. Universe. Yes, universe. The wink of the universe, right? Yeah, exactly. All right, so here's the one card that made me smile this morning. Ant. Especially this time of year here in Wisconsin. Ants in the summertime. Yeah, especially when they get in your house. I'm trying to get there. It is when the ants get into your house. They have a way of secreting a chemical, right? They're part of their chemistry, and it creates a path, a known path. So they're making their own mats, and so and it's hard to disrupt that. Scorpions do the same thing. And so once they lay the path down, all the other ants follow the path. And we really try hard not to do the chemical thing, right? And so using essential oils and that sort of stuff to try to get them to stop. Um, and especially when it's going to rain. When you were a kid, did you ever notice how ants would build up the height of the sand around the ant hole that goes into the ground? Did you ever see that? I haven't thought about that in years. But they build it up so that when it rains, it stops the water from going into their tunnels, right? And flooding the tunnels. And so they build it up. Now, hopefully, we don't get a whole lot of rain. Otherwise, that's not going to help either. But ants, yeah. Now, and I've never asked this question. How many people in the chat have ant as either a totem or a power animal? Because everybody, we all want eagle or tiger or cougar or, elephant, some really cool energy as our totems and power animals. Does anybody have the ant as a power animal or totem? Deborah is saying, I stopped traffic both ways once shoe info, a small one across the road. Oh, really? Huh. The uncle card. Oh, yeah. Yep. Those dagas. That's a ho chunk for Uncle Daga. Those dagas, you wanna make sure you don't make those dagas angry or upset them. In Potawatomi, it's Shay, her uncle. Yeah. Too funny. Christina's saying, we have red ones that blister. I'm always looking to make sure none get on me. Oh, I know, those little red ants. Fire ants. I know. Well, we have everyone from the really, really big ones to the really, really small ones. And carpenter ants and, yeah, they're all out here. And yeah, they keep us they keep us on our toes. Rob says, I don't, but I'm an uncle. I bet you're a good uncle too. Are you a great uncle, Rob? Are you? Because I'm a great aunt. Twice. I'm a great aunt. And Jen says, echidnas eat ants. Interesting. Ant lets us know when the rain is coming. Right, exactly. My Misha, my grandfather used to always say, watch the animals. They'll tell you everything you need to know. Just watch them. Ask them. They'll tell you. In their behavior, you don't even have to talk to them. That they'll watch them and they'll let you know. Lisa says, I have ants everywhere and feel a special relationship with them. Well, they also help with pollination. A lot of people don't know that. They also help with a certain amount of pollination. Fire ones are bad in Florida. Oh my gosh. I know they're not chewing, but an ant, but a porcupine. I kind of got that. I know, and porcupines, they like I said, they move slow. They move slow. Rob says, not yet, and my niece is 8. It's better be a while. Exactly. Exactly. Well, let's find out a little bit about the ant from this author, okay? Who happens to be, his name is Wanishi Shea. It's probably Wanishi. Okay. So here's the message. The best and most rewarding results come from careful planning and sound building. Ant reminds you that you are part of a group, a family, a society, and that the greatest good and security come from supporting the needs of the whole. No one can thrive in isolation, so be aware of your brothers and sisters on this planet. If you care for them and your environment, they'll care for you. It's all our relations. Find out what kind of people you have an affinity with and take time to discover where your gifts will be most useful. Then patiently build up your talents and abilities. And also reminds you to work with energy and dedication. This way you'll find satisfaction in what you have created. Give yourself time to grow and experience the full. Treat your companions with respect. Everyone has a gift to give or to play a part. And they are so community based, aren't they? They are so community based and they're so helpful to each other. If they get something heavy to carry, there's a whole bunch of them carrying it. It's just not one trying to tug it into place. And oh my goodness, have you ever watched ants take care of one of their dead? One of theirs that has walked on? It's fascinating, but it's also so moving that they would take care of that one ant that, died, and they're taking care of them. They circle it, right? And they pick up the body and they move the body and they take it with them. Yeah. Especially when you're outside watching, not so much inside the house, but outside. They do that. All right. Lisa says, they stay out of my home and I let them live. I know. If I have to squish one, it's like, okay, I asked you to stay out. I've captured many of you and returned you outside. But have a good journey home. And make sure that they're dead. Just not squished a little bit and then having to have a long death, right? All right. Deborah's laughing. Ants are recyclers. Yeah. Not all my ants have been recyclers. Yeah. Okay. So looking at the time, we're really hitting near the top of the hour here. But I want to show you both cards together because what the feeling I had about the message, right, is that both of them talked about all our relation, right, and that we can find what we're seeking, and we're talking about the returning to our innocence, recovering our innocence, right, feeling that safe and loved unconditionally from Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky. But I had the distinct feeling that between these two cards, right? Remember to call in your spiritual team to help you to bring in as much of the information in both the seen and unseen. You're taking that big, deep breath in, and on the exhale, intentionally bringing in as much of the information that porcupine and ant are providing us today. And here is the feeling I had, is that porcupine is letting us know that we don't have to have all the shields around us. That we can have gentleness and we can protect ourselves, but we don't have to be closed off to everybody. Heal what needs to be healed and release it so that you can be leading your life more from your heart, recovering your innocence. And that we have all kinds of help here from our community. The ant. And that the ant can actually help us to rebuild. Right? The ant can actually help us to find the people that we have the most affinity with. Our community, our peeps. And where your gifts can be experienced. You can experience using your gifts, and those that are experiencing that with you can receive from your gifts, from your soul, your wisdom. Right? So to me, these two cards are all about having community, being a community member. Right? We can support each other. And when needed, we can also protect each other. we can remind each other, right? Did you do your grounding today? Right? Did you remember to, there's oils out there, there's crystals out there, right? Or maybe you're the one that's got the information about a certain crystal or a certain oil, and that you want to share it with somebody. Maybe they're brand new to the community or brand new to being awake on their spiritual journey. And you remember how that was, and searching for information, looking for something that that's out there, that you can feel it's out there. Right? Remember when we read everything we could get our hands on? Watching how many videos, going to how many classes, right? When we first began. And so as good community members, Ant can certainly show us a great deal, and Porcupine can help us to recover our innocence and to be able to open our hearts more, right? Yeah. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Jen says, I went to a meditation group last night. It became apparent I had not released a hook. It has stopped me moving forward in a particular aspect of my life. Funny, the porcupine and ant came up this morning. Your explanation is in tune with what I need. Oh, that's good. That's good. Let's see. You're welcome. You're welcome, Jen. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was actually my spiritual team who was giving me that information about, tell them about the hooks, and then I realized, oh yeah, porcupine quills, at the very end, they have that little barb on there that really is a hook. Yeah. So, all right, we're at the top of the hour. I wanted to say thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever you're at on Grandmother Earth, to be able to be together like this in community, and sharing this information, and having a great conversation, right? Yeah. So if anything resonated with you today, whether it was the information coming from the cards or maybe something somebody said in the chat, right, and it resonated with you, my suggestion is to embrace it and watch and see how today's energy is unfolding around you and where that information can be helpful, right? Yeah. And if it didn't resonate, don't worry. Don't worry. Come back tomorrow and check out the cards tomorrow. That could be the cards for you, right? And I always say that sometimes we're the messenger. We find the information interesting, but, it just doesn't quite, you know, bring out that aha moment for you, right? Sometimes we're the messenger. Sometimes, it's somebody else that we know that's been looking for the information or looking for a community to become part of. And you can just share the link of the recorded show with them, and then you're done. You've done your duty. You've done the gift giving, that balance of giving and receiving, right? Okay. So I'm hoping that you guys can join me this evening for my weekly show, Communications from Home. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's 7 Central. Um, Speaking of searching for information, spiritual information, um, that's what the show is about tonight. And it leads us to a discussion about Star Nations Magazine. And so I hope you can join me for that. It's right here at the same spot, same bat channel, just a little different time. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern. And so I hope you can join me. Tomorrow evening is Polly Jola Bay's Soul Connection show, and that's at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you have some healing or something that you want to release, that's a good place to do it in, because you get all kinds of support for it. And then there's the card draw, right? And everybody loves to have that mini reading from Polly Jo. Yeah, that's what we have going on this week. It feels like there should be one more thing. Feels like it anyway. All right. So, there was one other thing I wanted to share with you guys. Is that as I was coming into the studio, I got a message from VLive TV. They're our partners that help us do this cool kind of stuff, like showing your comments on screen and having more than one person for the interview and that kind of thing. They have finally developed the app for VLive TV that works with iPhones. That's a big thing, especially when you're interviewing somebody and they want to use their phone. And so I just want to pass that along. You never know when you're going to need it. You never know. So I just wanted to let you in on that. And yeah, you guys are so welcome. Everybody's saying thank you. Aw, Lisa says, I so appreciate you. Thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate that. Yeah. All right. So enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you back here for Spiritual Roundtable tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Bama Mina. You know what that means, right? Until we see each other again. Love you guys.